Right now, inside your body, 40 trillion living things are doing invisible work. And there's a very good chance you've been slowly starving the ones that matter most. Not on purpose. Nobody told you what they actually need. Most people's daily food hands those good bugs almost nothing, day after day, year after year. And when the good crowd thins out, the wrong kind moves in. The bloating, the fatigue, the fogginess with no obvious cause. That's often what it feels like. 16 ordinary foods feed that good crowd back up, already in most kitchens, some growing in the yard right now. Number 4 is a plant most people spray and bag every spring, one of the richest sources on the whole list. Number 11, same food, same recipe. One thing done after changes everything it does inside you. Most people skip it. Number 15 has been hiding in coffee cups for 200 years. And number 16, stay with me. None of this replaces your doctor. It's God-given food doing the work it was made to do. Not a single thing on this list costs more than your next grocery run. Let's go through all 16. We'll start with the one that's already on your counter, the one you probably chopped this week and never gave a second thought, the humble onion. Most of us cook with onions week in and week out. They're the quiet foundation of nearly every good pot of soup or stew. But underneath that papery skin, tucked into all those layers, there's a fiber called inulin. And inulin is one of the finest meals you can hand your good bacteria. Here's the kitchen table version of what's going on. Your stomach and your insides take one look at inulin and just wave it right through. Can't break it down. Haven't got the tools for it. So it travels all the way down to that big crowd of good bugs, and they throw themselves a feast. And when they eat, they don't keep it all for themselves. They make little compounds that turn around and feed the lining of your own gut wall. I like to think of it as the good tenants paying their rent that keeps the whole house sound and in good repair. Now here's a small thing most folks don't know. Raw onion holds on to more of that fiber than an onion you've cooked down to nothing. Long, slow heat softens some of it away. So it's a fine idea to keep a little raw in the mix. A few thin slivers on a sandwich, a spoonful chopped fine into a fresh salsa. That said, don't fret over it. Even a cooked onion in your soup still carries a good share. The Creator built plenty of forgiveness into this one. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up most days. You truly don't need much. A quarter of an onion, most days of the week, and those fibers are down there doing steady, faithful work. Simple, and about as cheap as food gets. Studies suggest this family of fiber is linked with a real rise in the friendly bifidobacteria. Those are the very good bugs we most like to see thriving down there. And the plain old onion is about the easiest place on this green earth to find it. Right beside the onion sits its close cousin, small, mighty, and wrapped in white paper, garlic. Now, folks know garlic for its punch, and for all those old stories about warding off whatever's going around the neighborhood, and some of that has real merit. Garlic does carry compounds that studies suggest can help hold certain bad bugs at bay. But the part I want you to remember is quieter than that. Garlic carries that very same inulin fiber the onion does, plus a close relative of it, 2 gut foods in one little clove. So while it's out front fighting off the bad, it's quietly feeding the good at the very same time. Now, I can't rightly recall if it was my grandmother or maybe her older sister who used to hang the garlic braid right by the pantry door. Well, no matter now. The point is, those women leaned on it hard, long before anybody in a white coat could tell them a single reason why it worked. They just knew. Here's a little trick straight from the research, and it's a good one. When you chop or crush your garlic, let it sit and rest for about 10 minutes before it ever hits the heat. That short rest lets the good compounds fully form and toughen up, so more of them survive the pan. So that's the whole method, and it costs you no extra effort at all. Mince your garlic first thing. Start the rest of your cooking. Let the garlic sit there and rest on the board. Then stir it in near the very end so it never scorches. A clove or 2, most days, is plenty to keep the good work going. And if raw garlic is simply too fierce for your stomach, and for some folks it surely is, cooked garlic still hands over a good share of that fiber. Roast a whole head of it soft and sweet, and spread it on toast. Lovely, a pungent little thing that fights the bad and feeds the good in a single bite. The way the Creator packed all that into one small clove still gives me pause some mornings. Third on our list is the gentle giant of the whole onion family, tall, mild, and far too often forgotten, the leek. If onions and garlic are just too sharp for a tender stomach, and I've known plenty of folks in that boat, then the leek is your dearest friend. Same family, same good inulin fiber, but soft and sweet, and so easy on the system it's almost a different creature entirely. Here's the thing to know about where the good stuff hides. The white and the pale green parts, down low on the stalk, are where most of that fiber lives. Those tough dark green tops way up top are lovely tossed whole into a pot to make a broth. But for feeding your bugs, keep your knife down low. Leeks have one little quirk you have to know, or you'll be sorry. They hide grit and sand down deep between all those tight layers. So slice them into rounds first, then fan them open in a bowl of cool water and swish them about. Give them a good rinse. Skip that step and you'll get a mouthful of the garden you didn't bargain for. Then all you do is a slow, gentle cook. A little butter or oil in the pan, low heat, and let them melt down soft and sweet over 10 minutes or so. Don't rush it and don't let them brown. That's the whole business. A soft leek, cooked down slow, stirred into a soup, or spooned over a piece of fish, is one of the kindest things you can do for a gut that's had a hard time of it lately. Studies suggest that inulin fiber inside is the same friendly fuel we saw in the onion. It's just wearing far gentler clothes. Now we come to number 4, the one you've very likely been fighting your whole life long. Every spring, people all across this country spend their precious weekends out there pulling this plant, spraying it, bagging it up, hauling it right to the curb. The dandelion. And believe me, I understand the urge. A tidy lawn is a satisfying thing to look at. But here's what stopped me cold. Once I started paying it proper attention with a nurse's eye, those raggedy leaves, and the root down below especially, are absolutely packed with the very same inulin fiber we've been talking about this whole time. A weed most folks treat like an enemy is quietly one of the richest gut foods in the entire yard. A blessing, sprayed and bagged and hauled away. For hundreds of years, across all manner of cultures, people picked this plant on purpose, ate the greens, roasted the root. It only became a nuisance when we decided a flawless green lawn mattered more than the free medicine growing in it. The young leaves, picked before that yellow flower ever opens, are the tenderest and the sweetest. They do carry a little bitterness, but that bitterness is part of the gift. It gently wakes up your whole digestion, gets the juices flowing before your meal has even properly started. So here's how you use it. Toss the young, tender leaves raw straight into a salad, or if the bigger, older leaves are all you've got, wilt them down in a hot pan with a little of that garlic we just talked about. And there, 2 gut foods in 1 skillet. As for the root, dried and roasted, we'll come right back to that later, because it has a second life you'll want to hear about. Now, one honest word of caution, and it's an important one. Only ever pick from ground you know and trust. No roadsides, no lawns that get sprayed with weed killer. And if you happen to be on water pills or on blood pressure medication, have a quick word with your doctor before you start, because dandelion has a gentle nudge in that same direction, and your doctor will want to know. Free, growing within a few feet of most front doors in America, and nearly everybody in this country throws it clean away. There's a small lesson in that, I think. Number 5 stands up tall and proud in the spring garden, asparagus. Asparagus carries a good, generous dose of that inulin fiber right alongside a whole basket full of vitamins and folate. 2 jobs in 1 slender green spear. It's one of those foods that quietly does far more than it ever gets credit for. Now here's the thing most people get plain wrong with it. They boil it, and they boil it long, until it's limp and gray and sad. And a good deal of that soluble fiber, along with the vitamins riding right beside it, just leaches straight out into the cooking water and goes down the drain when you tip the pot. All that goodness poured away. So go easy on it. A quick steam is all you want. 3 or 4 minutes over simmering water, just until it turns bright, vivid green, and still holds a little snap when you bite it. Or better yet, roast it. A hot oven, a drizzle of oil, 10 minutes, done. You keep far more of the good fiber that way. And my word, it tastes 100 times better than the boiled gray version besides. One more small kindness. Don't throw out those woody bottom ends you snap off. Simmer them low in a pot of water for a light stock. They've still got a good share of flavor and a little goodness left in them. Waste not. Studies suggest this same family of fibers is linked with feeding those friendly bifidobacteria we keep circling back to. And a cup of tender, crisp asparagus, roasted golden, is about as pleasant a way to hand them their supper as I can think of. Number 6 is sitting on nearly every kitchen counter in the country right this minute. But with this one, timing is absolutely everything. The banana. Here's the part most people have truly no idea about. A banana that's still a little bit green, firm to the squeeze, with a touch of green up near the stem, is full of something called resistant starch, and most folks let that goodness ripen right out before they ever take a bite. Resistant starch is just exactly what it sounds like. It's starch that resists your own digestion, refuses to be broken down up top, and so it travels on down, untouched, to feed your good bacteria instead. It's the same prize gut fuel we're going to see again and again as we go. But here's the catch, and it's the whole point of this one. As a banana ripens, that resistant starch quietly turns itself into plain, simple sugar. The green fades, the brown spots come. It goes soft and sweet on your tongue. And right as it gets most delicious, most of that gut food has slipped away. So the greener, firmer banana is the one your bugs are actually hoping you'll reach for. Now, I'll grant you, a firm, barely ripe banana is a touch starchy and dull to just stand there and eat plain. So don't. Slice it up into your morning oats, or peel it, freeze it, and blend it into a cold smoothie, where it turns everything thick and creamy. The good fiber is still in there, working either way. It's such a small shift in how you think about it. Catch it while there's still a whisper of green left at the tip. That's the moment it's working hardest for the crowd inside you. After that, it's mostly just candy and a yellow peel. Number 7 is the one most people think they already know, and most people sell it short. The apple. An apple a day. We've all heard the old saying till we're sick of it, but the real reason behind it has far less to do with the apple in general and much more to do with one particular soft, jelly-like fiber tucked inside it. It's called pectin. Pectin is the very same stuff that makes a batch of jam set up thick and hold its shape on the spoon. And down in your gut, your good bacteria absolutely feast on it. In return, they make more of those little rent-paying compounds we keep talking about, the ones that keep your gut wall strong and calm and content. Now here's the piece that matters most, and it's where people go wrong. The bulk of that pectin and the fiber that rides with it sits right there just under the skin. So this is one you eat with the peel on. Washed well, of course. Peel your apple before you eat it, and you've just handed a good share of the whole blessing straight to the compost bin. And here's a real kindness for the tender-tummied among us. A stewed apple, cooked down soft and low with just a little cinnamon and a splash of water, keeps its pectin just fine, and it goes down easy on a delicate stomach. My own mother used to make it for anyone in the house feeling poorly, kept a pot of it going through the cold months, and you know she was onto something all along. One good apple, skin and all, most days of the week. Studies suggest that pectin is linked with feeding the friendly crowd down below and keeping things moving along the way they should. Ordinary fruit, faithful, quiet work. Nothing fancy about it. Number 8 is very likely sitting in your cupboard right now in one of those round cardboard tubs that's been there longer than you can remember. Oats. Oats carry a special soluble fiber that goes by the name beta-glucan. And beta-glucan does something rather clever. The moment it meets water, it turns itself into a soft, thick gel. It's the very thing that makes a bowl of porridge go creamy and cling to your spoon. That soft gel slows everything down inside you, slows how fast your stomach empties out, slows the rush of sugar into your blood so you don't get that sharp spike and then the hard crash an hour later. Think of it like a soft dam laid across a fast-running creek. Everything just flows through gentler, steadier, calmer. And here's the part your good bacteria care about. Whatever your own body doesn't take up from that fiber, they're down at the bottom waiting to eat. The research on this one runs deep and steady. In careful trials, folks eating oats showed a real rise in those friendly bifidobacteria and a friendlier blood fat picture right along with it. That is a fiber earning its keep. Now, a word on what to buy, because this matters. reach for the plain rolled oats, or the steel-cut kind if you've got the patience for them. Not those little flavored packets with the pictures of fruit on the front. Those are mostly sugar dressed up in a costume. And sugar, remember, feeds the wrong crowd entirely. Plain is the whole point. And here's a lovely bonus that hardly anybody knows. Cook your oats, then chill them right down in the fridge overnight. As they cool, that starch rearranges and forms resistant starch on top of the beta-glucan that was already there. So a jar of cold overnight oats, pulled from the fridge in the morning, is handing your bugs 2 different kinds of fuel in one go. Warm porridge on a cold, foggy morning, or cold overnight oats straight from the fridge on a busy one. Either way, you're doing the good crowd inside you a real favor. Simple, cheap, faithful. About as humble a breakfast as there is, and about as kind. Number 9 is oats' old country cousin, and I'd wager most folks have all but forgotten it exists. Barley. Barley carries that very same beta-glucan gel fiber the oats do. Gram for gram, it often carries even more of it. But somewhere along the road, in all our rushing, we simply stopped putting it in our pots. It got left behind. A real shame when you know what it can do. For hundreds of years, this was a staple grain across half the world. Our great-grandparents knew it well. It filled the daily bread and the daily pot when there wasn't much else to be had, and it filled folks up and kept them going. There's a deep, steady wisdom in these old, forgotten grains, and it's about the easiest grain there is to cook. You treat it much like rice. 1 cup of barley, 3 cups of water, or a good broth, a lid on the pot. Pearl barley will be tender in about 40 minutes. The hulled kind, which keeps a little more of the whole grain, takes closer to an hour and a quarter, so plan ahead for that one. Either way, it holds a lovely little bite that rice never quite manages. Stir a scoop of it into a pot of vegetable soup and it thickens the whole thing up beautiful. Turns a thin broth into a proper meal, or cook up a big batch. Let it cool and toss it with chopped tomatoes and cucumber and a little oil for a grain salad that holds up in the fridge all week long. 1 pot, many meals. Just a small note when you shop. Look for hulled or pot barley if you can find it, which keeps more of the whole grain. The common pearl barley is fine and cooks faster, but it's been polished down a bit. Either one, though, is a fine gift for your gut. Studies suggest barley's beta-glucan is linked both with a steadier blood fat picture and with more of those good rent-paying compounds down in the gut. An old, humble grain, quietly ahead of its time, all along. Number 10 is small enough to overlook entirely, and mighty enough that you truly shouldn't. Flaxseed. These tiny seeds hold a soft, soluble fiber that turns slippery and gel-like the very moment it meets water. Soak a spoonful in a little glass for a few minutes, and you'll see it happen with your own eyes. It goes almost like a raw egg white, thick and slick. And that gel is exactly what your good bacteria love best of all. Now here's the piece nearly everybody gets wrong, and it means most people waste their money on this one. A whole flaxseed is so slick and so hard-shelled that it sails right on through you completely untouched. Hole in the top, hole out the bottom, if you'll forgive me being plain. You get almost nothing at all from it. So you have to grind it. That's the one thing that matters. A little cheap coffee grinder does the job in about 5 seconds flat. And here's the trick to it. Grind only what you'll use up within a week or so, because once flax is ground, it goes stale and turns quick. So keep your ground flax in a jar in the fridge, and it'll stay fresh and sweet. A single spoonful of ground flax stirs into just about anything without changing the taste much at all. Into your oats, your yogurt, a smoothie, even stirred into a soup or sprinkled over a salad. And do drink a good full glass of water right along with it because that fiber likes to swell up and drink deep. Now, one honest heads up, and please hear me on this, because this fiber is so very good at slowing things down inside you, it can also slow down how well your body takes up your medicine. So if you're on any prescription at all, keep your big spoon of flax a couple of hours apart from your pills. And a quick word with your pharmacist about it never once hurt anybody. They're there to help you with exactly this. A small seed, a big helper. Just remember the one rule, and it's the whole ball game. Grind it, or you're feeding the sewer instead of your good bugs. Now we're at number 11, and this is the one nearly everybody gets entirely backwards. It costs you nothing to put right. and it might just change how you think about a plain old potato forever. I know. A potato. We've been told for years now that it's nothing but empty, fattening starch, and to keep our distance. And a hot, fresh from the pot potato, eaten steaming, mostly, is just quick starch. That much is true. But watch closely now, because a single cold night in the fridge does something remarkable to it. When you cook a potato, and then you chill it, all the way down, overnight, good and cold, the starch inside quietly rearranges itself. It sets up, and it turns into that resistant starch we first met with the green banana. The very same kind your own body simply can't break down, that heads straight to the bottom to feed your good bacteria. And you didn't lift a finger. The fridge did the whole job for you while you slept. In careful trials, this kind of resistant starch was linked with a real, measurable rise in one of the most prized compounds of all. It's called butyrate, and butyrate is the very favorite food of the cells that make up your gut wall itself. You're feeding the wall that protects you. So here's the whole method, plain and simple. Boil up your potatoes today, whenever's easy. Let them cool right down in the fridge overnight, uncovered's fine. Then eat them cold the next day, tossed into a good potato salad. And here's the best news of all. Even if you gently warm them back up the next day, a fair bit of that resistant starch stays right where it formed. It doesn't all undo. So you get the good either way. The very same potato, the very same money out of your pocket, one quiet night in the fridge, and it goes from empty filler to genuine gut food. Most people have truly, honestly no idea, and now you're one of the few who do. Number 12 works that very same wonderful trick, only now with the grain that half the world eats at every single meal, rice. Just like the potato, a bowl of rice that's been cooked and then chilled down overnight forms that same resistant starch, the kind that slips right past your own digestion and lands squarely on your good bacteria's plate, which means yesterday's leftover rice from the fridge is quietly doing more for your gut than today's fresh, hot batch. So that's exactly why a cold rice salad or a next day fried rice made up from the leftovers is quietly doing you a real favor while you're just enjoying your supper. Brown rice will give you a little extra fiber on top of all this being the whole grain. But even plain white rice, once it's cooled, makes that good resistant starch just fine. Now, one truly important word on safety here, and I mean this as plain and serious as I can. Cooked rice that's left sitting out on the warm counter for hours can grow a certain bacteria that will make you good and sick. This is not a small thing. So cool your rice down quickly, within the hour, and get it straight into the fridge. Don't leave it standing out on the stovetop all afternoon. Cool it fast, chill it cold. Handled the right way, it's the simplest thing in the world. Cook it, cool it quick, chill it overnight, and then enjoy it cold or gently reheated the next day. Done properly and safely, yesterday's rice is a small, quiet gift to the whole crowd living inside you. Number 13 is the true workhorse of this entire list, the one that gives you the most bang for the fewest pennies, beans and lentils. Now, beans have earned themselves a certain reputation over the years, and we're going to talk about that honestly in just a minute because I don't shy away from these things. But first, the good part. Beans and lentils carry a whole bundle of gut foods all at once. Resistant starch, soluble fiber, and a special sugar chain that your good bacteria treat like a full holiday feast. 3 gifts in one humble spoonful. So let's talk about the wind. There, I said it, and we'll get past it together. That famous old bean trouble is actually a sign the whole thing is working exactly as it should. Your good bugs are eating so eagerly, so happily that they give off a little gas in their feasting. It's not a problem to be feared. It's proof of a party going on down there. And it fades, truly it does, as your gut gets used to the regular feast. And here's the whole trick to a gentle, easy start. Go slow. Do not sit yourself down to a giant heaping bowl of chili on day 1 and expect no fuss. Start with just a couple of spoonfuls, a few times a week, and let the crowd inside you catch right up and grow to meet it. Give it 2, maybe 3 weeks of that, and most of the fuss settles right down on its own. Patience is the whole game here. If you use the canned beans for the sheer ease of it, and there is not 1 ounce of shame in that, I keep them in my own pantry. Just give them a good rinse under the cold tap before you use them. That rinse washes away some of what stirs up the wind, and then they're ready to go in about a minute flat. Lentils are even easier still. They don't even need soaking. They cook up soft and done in 20 minutes. Cheap, filling, keeps for ages in the pantry, and about as good for your good bugs as anything that grows out of the ground. A humble pot of lentil soup, simmering slow on the back of the stove on a gray afternoon, is one of the most faithful, nourishing things you can ever keep in a kitchen. Somewhere along the way, in all our rushing towards something fancier, we nearly talked ourselves out of them. That was our loss. Number 14 is a knobby, homely little root that most people have walked right on past their whole lives without a second glance. The Jerusalem artichoke. Some folks around here call it a sunchoke. Now here's the funny thing right off the bat. It isn't an artichoke at all, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with Jerusalem, nor anywhere near it. Where on earth that name came from? Well, I've heard 3 different stories over the years, and I don't fully trust a single one of them. But no matter. What matters is what's tucked inside that homely root. And inside, it is packed absolutely to the brim with that inulin fiber. It's one of the very richest sources on this whole list. It's a delight to eat, too. Tastes a little like a water chestnut. Sweet, nutty, and crisp. You can slice it thin and raw straight into a salad for a lovely crunch, or roast it in a hot oven with a little oil until the edges go deep golden and it turns soft and almost buttery on the inside. A whole different creature roasted. But, and this is a real but, because it is so very rich in that fiber, I'm going to give you the exact same counsel I gave you with the beans. Start small. A few slices your first time, not a whole heaping plate full, or your gut is going to have some strong words for you by evening. Ask any gardener who's ever gotten carried away with them. They'll just smile and nod and say no more. And here's the real joy of it. If you've got even a small patch of garden, plant a few of these tubers and then just stand well back. They grow like the near weeds they are, tall and cheerful with little yellow flowers, and they come up faithful every single year with almost no fuss or tending from you at all. A God-given crop that quite nearly plants itself and asks for nothing. Potent, homely, nearly forgotten. But my goodness, what a gift once you know it. Just respect it, start slow, and let your good bugs work their way up to the feast. Number 15 has been hiding in plain sight, right there in a coffee cup, for a good 200 years. Chicory root. If you've ever had that rich, dark chicory coffee they drink down in New Orleans, then you've already had this and didn't know it. Here's the history of it. Back when times were lean and hard and real coffee was dear or simply couldn't be had at all, folks roasted this humble root, ground it down, and used it to stretch their coffee, or to replace it altogether. Necessity and a bit of cleverness. And here's the quiet wonder they never knew they'd stumbled onto. Chicory root is about the single richest source of inulin fiber on this entire list. Richer than the onion, richer than the garlic. So a warm cup of chicory coffee is, in truth, a mugful of gut food, and it carries no caffeine at all, which makes it a gentle, comforting thing to sip of an evening without it keeping you up half the night. Now you'll remember our old friend the dandelion, way back at number 4, and that root I promised we'd circle right back to. Well, here we are. It's the very same idea. You roast the dandelion root, grind it up, and it brews into a very close cousin of this chicory. 2 humble weeds, 1 warm and comforting cup. There's a real poetry in that, if you ask me. The research on this particular fiber runs long, and it runs deep. Studies suggest these inulin-type fibers are linked with steadier blood sugar in folks who tend to run a little high, which for so many people watching this is a real and welcome and meaningful thing to hear. And that, right there, is exactly why I want to slow us both right down and say this next part slow and clear, because these fibers do work. If you are on any medication at all for your blood sugar, please talk with your doctor before you start leaning on these hard. Your good work here might just mean your doctor needs to adjust your dose down a notch, and that is a careful conversation for the 2 of you to have together. It is not one for me to have from way over here, a warm cup of an evening. No caffeine to steal your sleep, just quiet comfort, feeding the crowd inside you while you rest. There's an old, deep comfort in that. The kind our grandparents understood without needing it, explained. And number 16, the one I promised way back at the start, might just make you smile. Dark chocolate. Now, I know exactly how that sounds, coming from a retired old nurse who's just spent an hour telling you to eat your greens. But hear me out, because there is real substance behind it. Cocoa, and I mean the true, honest cocoa, before all the sugar and the cream and the milk get piled on top of it, is absolutely full of natural plant compounds called polyphenols. Now, these polyphenols aren't a fiber exactly, like most of the others we've talked about today, but they work a very similar kind of wonder down below. Your good bacteria break them down and put them to use. And studies suggest that in the doing of it, the friendly bifidobacteria and lactobacilli are encouraged to grow and thrive. Your good bugs take a bitter little compound and turn it into their own good fortune, a small, daily alchemy, right there in an ordinary square of chocolate. But, and oh, this part truly matters, it has to be the dark kind, the honest, bitter kind. 70% cocoa and up, where the ingredient list on the back is short, and the sugar sits way down at the bottom of it. A sweet, pale, creamy milk chocolate bar is mostly just sugar and fat wearing a chocolate costume. And sugar, as we've said again and again today, feeds the wrong crowd entirely. So dark and honest is the whole point here. And you need only a square or two of good dark chocolate after your supper, or a spoonful of plain, unsweetened cocoa powder dusted over your morning oats. That's truly all it takes. Small, honest amounts. This one is a genuine pleasure, not a great big portion to go piling on. Everything in its right measure. That a small, bitter little square of chocolate can quietly feed the good crowd living inside you? Well, I'll be honest. I find a real and quiet joy in that. It feels like a small reminder, a reminder that this world was built with a good deal more kindness folded into it than we tend to stop and notice in our hurrying, even in the chocolate. So there they all are, 16 ordinary, everyday foods, most of them already within easy arm's reach of where you're sitting right now, quietly feeding the vast crowd that helps keep you well and whole. And here's the one thing I truly hope you carry away from all of this. You do not need a cabinet full of expensive supplements and packaged powders to look after your gut. You never did. The plain onion on your counter, the apple sitting in the bowl, the cold potato left over from last night's supper. That's the real work, done faithfully, just a little bit each and every day. So start with just 2 or 3 of these, not all 16 at once, for mercy's sake. Your good bugs need real time to grow into a bigger feast, same as we said all about the beans. So go slow, drink your water, and let the whole crowd inside you catch right up in its own good time. There's no race here. And once more, plain and honest, the same as I said at the very start, none of this replaces the good care of your own doctor. Not one bit of it. It sits right alongside that care. It's the small, quiet, daily tending that happens in between the visits. It's simply what you can do, from your own kitchen, with your own 2 God-given hands. Now, I would truly, dearly love to hear from you on this one. So here's my question for you, down in the comments, and I'm honestly curious to know, which of these 16 surprised you the most? Was it the weed growing right there in your own lawn? The cold potato trick that nobody ever tells you? Or the chicory that's been hiding in a coffee cup all along? And tell me this too, is there a gut food your own mother or your own grandmother swore up and down by that I plumb left off my list today? Tell me down below. I read every single one of them. I truly do. And if this was a help to you today, well, subscribe and come sit with me a while. There is always another quiet little thing worth knowing, growing right there, just outside the kitchen door, waiting for us to notice it. Until next time then, tend your garden, tend your gut, and do be gentle with your own dear self along the way. God bless you, and stay well.